Julie, the way that we like to start out is to actually have you tell us about what sales you have made in your entire business, offline or online, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Let's say like in the last like 2 years, 1 to 2 years, preferably.
Okay.
And what content it was and all that good stuff.
Great. Okay. So basically I have a couple different businesses, but art related. I, started doing, my artwork. My artwork's kind of funny. It starts out as a photograph and I turned it into sort of graphic art. I've kind of mushed together two passions and kind of came up with this sort of fun impressionistic, style. And it's, I initially started it, maybe 5 years ago. I won't tell you the whole history, but, I kind of started it as note cards. And then I, ended up, starting to put it on canvas. And, I did that for a while. And I've also spent some time in brand marketing. So not only was I selling artwork at the farmers market in Napa and at different events, kind of art events there in wine country. I started also, contacting wineries and doing business to business sales. So I was doing, note card gifts. I go shoot custom.
When you say note cards, are you referring to like greeting cards? Like,
yeah,
greeting like people cards. Could buy a pack of 5 or 10 or, okay.
Yeah. I had a big order one time. I had done a wine club gift package for Florida Springs, and they picked out 4 different designs. I went and shot their winery, created artwork for it, and they picked 4 designs and put them all together and branded them. And we put them in branded packaging, and I did like 4,000 of them for them. So I've done that. I did a huge shoot for Behringer and created artwork for them for their production facility. They hung, kind of branded work in their production facility that was artwork and colorful, that wasn't photography. And then I also have done some work for Luna Vineyards, where they have a tasting room sort of offsite from their wineries. So we shot all the winery kind of details in their vineyards and so forth. And then we hung these big canvases up in their tasting room that was offsite so that they could, so it's kind of a business to business thing.
Yes, that's interesting.
Did you ask me prices or?
Well, no, I want to make sure I just pull it, because you just rattled off a lot right there. So, you've really, have you not really sold to consumers? Like, it sounds like, I always say the 80-20 rule. So like 80% of your business, has it traditionally come from business to business?
No.
Sales?
No, not necessarily. I've sold at the farmers market, like I said. I used to be
okay.
going on Saturdays, usually, most of the year. And I sold at farmers markets for probably 4 or 5 years. So I would sell canvases and note cards and prints out of a booth. And the reason I sort of started out with Art Storefronts, I was looking for a platform. I don't know if you can see my screen or not, but this is actually my business to business site. So I basically have a portfolio site that I suppose I could sell off of. It's a Zenfolio site. Mm-hmm. I also have, for a while, I had another site that people could buy off of but it wasn't, it was really expensive, it felt like, to sell off of it. So I just never really promoted it. But I ended up going with Art Storefronts because I would get a lot of customers that were, being in the Napa Valley. I had a lot of, people that were coming through and interested, but they couldn't travel with stuff.
Right.
They were tourists. So I wanted a place to send them, to be able to, I gave them a business card and a coupon code and said, buy off of here. And it was very odd because, I had a whole lot of warm interest in that. People were really interested in my work. But I just haven't sold anything off of here. The only thing I've sold off of here was a note card that a friend of mine bought, a note card package that I fulfilled. So I'm just concerned that I spent a lot of money on this and I'm clearly doing something wrong. I mean, I know that I need to market because I'm in marketing, I'm in brand marketing. I don't do a lot of online marketing, so I'm kind of a rookie in that sense. And I know that you have to spend some time and energy and occasionally money to get that going. But I was surprised that I haven't sold anything through my warm market, that people had already seen a full-size piece, were really into it, were excited to go on my site, and nothing came of it. I don't know if it was the cost that was prohibitive or the shipping, or if it was confusing to them. So, I mean, I don't have a ton of visitors, but a lot of the people that I sent there that were kind of original, or what do you call that? Organic. Is organic when you've sent somebody with a business card online?
I mean, it's technically not organic. It's technically direct traffic, but
Direct.
that's sort of just semantics at a point.
Right. So I don't know if I go on here. I don't know how many of those I've got on here direct. I mean, I suppose
you've got in the last year you have 560 direct, 58 organic, which are essentially, I'm assuming those are probably direct as well. In other words, they go to Google, they search your name, they find you, and they go right to this site, right? And then 29 from Facebook, and that's the total. So,
right.
So
I know
overall,
I'm lacking in people here, for promotions. I do promote the site. I have it on my bio and I probably have posted, let me look at my Instagram. I've got about 800 followers.
Mm-hmm.
I post constant, I try and post pretty consistently.
Do you ever post a link to your website?
What's that?
Because do you ever post a link to this actual website from Instagram? Because there's
in my bio.
Let me go there right now, because there's no traffic from Instagram.
I know, it's really annoying.
There's just
they've had it right now. It's right now it's my free giveaway link.
Yeah, I saw.
Pat, are you looking at hers?
Yeah,
I just slacked it to you. Okay.
Yeah, it's in the moment. Creative is my handle, and but I've always had.
Oh, so you know what? So you've got your you're using your Art Storefronts domain and not your custom domain. So that's why it's not showing in your analytics.
Well, that's a
problem.
This one's the Art Storefronts one because of the offer. Because I'm running a giveaway. So
no, I get that, but instead of inthemomentcreative.artstorefronts.com, that should just be www.inthemomentwineCountryArt.com /all the giveaway stuff.
Oh, well.
So it's not a big deal. We can't see the stats of what's coming from Instagram because of that. So I will have my team help explain that further, because it's a detail that we don't need to,
or if you can just
harp on here.
I'll change it so we can collect the data and I
yeah.
Know what to do.
You always want to have a.
I think I just copied.
Sorry. Yeah.
It. I went through the directions and I thought I was just supposed to copy it after I kind of looked at, when you click on it just to preview the page after I created that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. All right. But normally I just put in there inthemomentcreative.com, or no, in the moment winecountryart.com.
Right. Yeah, that's what you always want to do. So that's okay. That's just hiding the Instagram traffic from us.
Oh, okay. So normally I have the winecountryart.com, but if you can kind of see, I post pretty regularly my artwork on here, and this was obviously the first time I really did the giveaway, so I know I have been lacking in being active enough and participating in your recommended marketing, and I'm starting to jump in and do that right now. I just made a move, and I was working pretty much full time doing my design work before that. So I understand I'm guilty of a lot of it, but my curiosity is, why do I have all this direct traffic from my warm market people, and
well, the first things first is just just looking at your stats and your traffic in general, right? And we don't have the Instagram on here, but since you primarily, we're generating that direct traffic, it's just, it's so small that you basically haven't gotten started yet. Like, that's just kind of you've got blue ocean ahead of you. I mean, you've got all those followers on Instagram. And so, whatever you have done on Instagram also, like, I'm looking over your last year, you've only generated 23, is it 23? Let me go back to that. 23 new email addresses on your site. Okay.
Yeah, but that's probably from,
and so that's,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And that's probably, I understand that. That's probably, most of it's from the giveaway.
Right. And my point is that it's only 23. You want that to be like 2,000. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
and I do have the other
like,
question I have too, is I have a whole bunch of warm market emails that I have in MailChimp. Can I migrate those together? Because I have about 600.
Yes, you should. You just need to import those into the contact manager in Art Storefronts. The contact manager in Art Storefronts should be your centralized contact manager. MailChimp is just an email service provider, like it's a tool, but your centralized like hub is your Art Storefronts like contact manager, and it will sync to MailChimp for you. So it's okay that you already have those in MailChimp. It's good to just get them into Art Storefronts to have them in there.
I'll be able to figure that out, I'm sure.
Yeah, the support team can help you. There's an article that's like, just import your contacts, a support article. And I'm not positive if it goes both ways. I think it only goes from Art Storefronts to MailChimp, but they'll be able to help you. It's pretty simple. I mean, you'll be able to export from MailChimp and import right into Art Storefronts. So they'll help you. It'll be really simple.
Okay, cool. Because I basically went on MailChimp, the last giveaway. I had to send out two different things. One to my, my email list that I've just got from, that I've collected from my farmer's market, and then whatever I've collected off of Art Storefront.
That's okay. Let's for the sake of this call, let's try to go back to the higher level to give you the right advice.
Sure.
So the point I was making there is, you're just getting started. There's nothing necessarily that like you're doing incredibly wrong or anything like that, because the bottom line is you just don't have anywhere near enough traffic yet. And so really it's all about getting out there, getting more eyeballs to the site and all that, and on your work and stuff like that.
Now,
when it comes to,
I mean, I've got so many.
Well, wait, hang on 1 second. Hang on 1 second. So the other part is that when you're doing the shows, you were actually, what you want to do is the opposite of what you were doing. Instead of giving them a business card, which you can totally do, you can give them a business card. You need to get their information. You want to get their email address.
I did that too.
You did.
So,
okay. So
yeah, that's where all my email lists came from.
Okay. So you have been doing, did you do like all the fourth quarter marketing strategy and all that stuff? And we're sending emails to all of those people?
No. I just started,
no. Okay.
I started on this, like I'm just day one starting.
Okay. Okay.
I've been moving. I just
in the
moved,
notes here.
So I can't and I've been really hustling to try and get some actual work right now, just because I make $100 an hour doing that, and I just have to prioritize getting myself set, So no,
absolutely. Nick, I think big picture. So she lived in Napa. She had a, has done quite a few shows, and we're doing shows all the time. Napa Farmers Market every weekend, was generating good sales out of that. Selling them primarily in a retail capacity. She's since relocated to Boise, so that particular source of revenue is no longer available.
I am going to start doing farmers markets here, and there actually are 45 wineries here. So,
yeah. which is great. It could be another cottage industry. I mean, I think big picture, looking at everything, the fact that you have the ability to do the shows and you're good at doing the shows is fantastic. And we certainly have some material that'll help you level up your show game. But I looked in depth at a number of your Instagram photos, and I like the booth setup. I like some of the things that you were doing. So I totally get all of that. I think you're in a pretty good place, actually. Now, the paucity of sales up to this point on a new digital site, I think the point Nick was making is, when you get into this, you're like, well, wait a minute, I've been doing this for years. I've had great sales, and I just put this website up. Why isn't it selling? Sadly, the digital entity is brand new, and it has to be looked at like a brand new business. And that's kind of how it goes. You have a huge leg up in the sense that you have 800 emails to start out with, which is fantastic. I've looked at your Instagram. I think you're doing a great job on Instagram, by the way. I think you're doing a good balance of showing your work and then also kind of showing you, your life, and your daughter, and the fun stuff you do, which is great for forming a bond. I think Napa was Napa, and there's still probably some potential there, but I love what you just said, the idea of potentially pivoting to Boise and sort of starting to own Boise and see what opportunities are available there. Yeah. Given, like when we have these calls, we always drill into what was working, where are you getting your sales, and are you maximizing those opportunities rather than thinking, hey, I'm just going to go to digital and start winning them. So based on everything that I've seen so far up to this point, if I'm you, I'm putting myself in your shoes and running your operation. I love you finding the local scene, getting going on it, start forging those partnerships with the local wineries. When you have the shows, the playbooks that we have, we call them playbooks, checklists for how to capture email, how to follow up with the people. They're really, really simple to do. And my guess is that you'll probably be able to double or triple your revenue per show. The key to when you're in the booth and you have the website, and I love your idea about Art Storefronts, because let's be honest, a lot of people at the Boise markets are going to be tourists as well, right? And so it's going to be that same balance. We have one customer, his name's Bill Stidham, and he actually lives in Mexico, central Mexico, in Guanajuato, and he has a gallery down there, and it's in this town called San Miguel de Allende, huge tourist town, and he takes a tremendous amount of orders in his physical gallery down there from U.S. tourists, and they don't have to fly with anything. They just go home and the orders ship there.
So you basically want to get them to sell right in the market.
You take that order right there in the booth. You have to have a device that is connected to the internet. It can be your computer or it could be an iPad, and get the credit card immediately and close that deal right there. Okay. But I think, your style is unique. It encompasses two things that I love. One, alcohol. That's without question. Huge fan.
Yeah, everybody loves the booze.
Yeah, everybody loves the booze. Two, you can take the recipe that you had in Napa, which is you have to sell something that has an emotional attachment to it. People love their time in Napa. They love their trip. They love the winery. They want to remember that trip. If you can capture that same magic in Boise, you are totally in business. And then in terms of marketing, you just haven't even started yet. You haven't started yet. You have to start emailing that list. You have to start warming that list up. There is the possibility.
And I think I get, and I need to get over this, I guess, is that, because everybody freaking emails me every single day.
Exactly. Doesn't matter.
I'm very worried about over saturating myself. Like, Jesus,
Yes, Julie, we have all been there. Let me tell you, it is one of these imaginary fences that once you jump over it, you don't ever look back. It does not matter. It does not matter. I think
that's been my, because a lot of people that have bought my stuff are my friends, and it's like, it's the salesy thing. And you know what? Guess what? If you're going to sell stuff, you got to be salesy.
Yes. And everyone else is salesy. And guess what? Attention is so fragmented in today's landscape. We get so much email. The dirty little secret and all of it. They're not going to see all of your email anyway. They're probably not even going to see the majority of them. So who cares? Start getting busy. You're in a way better spot than a lot of the calls that we have, because You validated your style. You know it sells. You know it works. If you can get in front of people, you're closing sales. So you just have to pivot to Boise, and you have to start actively marketing, and you are absolutely going to have a vibrant online business. I'm
ready to kind of get this going, because I just would like it to be a secondary, would like it to be more and more of a passive income. I mean, I'm always going to do stuff because I'm, people up here are like, yeah, I'm here retiring. I'm like, I don't think I'll ever retire because I'm just too interested in doing new things, but, but I'd like to get this going as a passive income. I've also, sort of trying to get into the licensing stuff, which pays a lot less. But I guess the other question I had, my style looks better bigger. Tends to look better when it's bigger. So there's a little bit of a prohibition. People look at it as photography. It kind of is, but they're not seeing the style on a small on digital.
Right.
And it's, when I tell people to look at my portfolio, I usually ask them to look on, on a larger scale or on their computer just to see the style and so forth. I don't know that there's anything I can do about that at this point, but I'm just mentioning.
You're just mentioning.
One thing one thing I'm like, as I'm looking at your Instagram, I like how you have pictures of the prints and stuff like that. I think a video, I think a lot of people miss this, but like, when you think about like how much nicer it is to be able to see a print in person, and see the canvas or see the metal, see the acrylic, whatever the media type is, right? When you see it in person, it takes on a different life, right? And so it would be nice to have, sprinkle in the occasional video on your Instagram of you holding the piece, kind of like in the light, in the different angles, showing it up close a little bit so that people can appreciate the product for what it is. I always think about, like, just imagine if you were like baking cupcakes and cupcakes were your product, and all you did was just put the picture of the cupcake on there, right? Like, sure, it'll look delicious, but like, if you can, when you're actually walk into a cupcake, store, and you smell it and you can see it up close and like get a different, it just, the whole thing is a completely different story. You know what I mean?
I started doing that. I did one video, which was the first video I've done. It's just getting comfortable on the camera. It's kind of about 10 down or something. There is a video there. It's got with a purple wine bottle.
Oh, cool.
So I do have one.
Okay.
And I need to do some more of those because I agree with you. I just need to be more comfortable and, just less formal and just kind of do some fun stuff. And I'm also trying to break in with some technique. Like I did, was trying to show some up front with, kind of detail work, because I'm starting to experiment with adding gold leaf onto some of my original prints. I obviously can't do that with Art Storefronts, but, I'm just process. I do the process.
Well, you could do that. You could do that because you could have, you could sell them as like what we call limited edition products. Yeah, even if it's not a limited edition, you could still set it up in the Art Storefronts
you sell
site manager
like
as a. Yeah, exactly. And so then when you get the order, you can have the print shipped to you if that's how you do it, and then you put the gold leaf on it, and then you would ship it right. You keep all the packaging, so it's like you just it's really easy, and then you just ship it right to the customer.
Okay, gotcha. I've got that the double shipping then. Okay.
But let me back up for a second, because I just want to like completely confirm what Pat said a couple of minutes ago. Like you basically are, the position that you're in. It's funny because we're talking to a lot of different photographers and artists, painters, and oftentimes, people who have not sold before, we're trying to get them to do what you have already done, which is get out there, validate that your artwork that it will sell, that right. So that you know what your niche actually is, get some sales, get some email addresses, some customers, build a little bit of a list, and you've got basically like the building blocks of traction right there. And with that, you're ready to go, right? Like I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my goodness, all she's got to do is follow the art marketing calendar. That's all she's got to do. Like, because
I'm like, oh, okay, this is not so hard. I was just in, you know, it's sort of so weird. I mean, I've marketed for Visa and McDonald's and all this other stuff. And I'm like, look, just follow the stupid thing that they've got going on now, Julie. It's just like, you know, I just haven't marketed online a whole lot. So I think I've just got an intimidation factor about it. And I'm realizing it's not that freaking hard. So
yeah, you got to just get out of your own way
and it's just, and I just have to make time to do it. You know, it's kind of one of those things where, you know,
and remember, we've got the critical tasks highlighted, right? Yeah. So like we've done that specifically because so many people say, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. So we highlight the things that are like, if you only have a little bit of time, do these.
Yeah.
And
that's
so
really
make sure you do those things. Yeah. And then as you see more success and get more motivated or whatever, you know, you can do a lot more, but it's really not that much work. It's really,
and
it's shocking how little of time it is.
Yeah. And I do appreciate the fact that you guys have streamlined it from the beginning till now. Cause I started a couple of years ago and I was just like, holy crap, I can't read all this stuff. Just much less how to prioritize and so forth. I mean, it was a lot. I mean, you gave all the information, but it was just like, my brain does not work like that.
There's no question. I mean,
and I do appreciate the handbook and so forth that came out recently. So I appreciate that. And I did something stupid. I went and, you know, cause I knew it was all about, or I was thinking it was all about data. And I just was trying to pay somebody to do something for me. And I spent $2,000 with a data management company that has now disappeared.
Yeah.
So,
oh
no, what was that for? Like, what were you trying to get done there?
They were just going to try and get me trying to get my website access to a whole bunch of different things. So they here, I'll show you the report they did. And I don't know, can you see my screen?
Was it search engine optimization or was it were you buying leads or?
Monthly progress report. And it's visibility stuff. So this was, can you see my screen?
No, we can't. You'd have to hit.
No.
Can I share my screen and you can see it or no with Zoom?
You might be able to. Is there a share button down below on your little Zoom bar?
Yeah, let me see. Share. Let me share this. Okay.
Yeah, this is working. We're seeing it now.
I can see it.
So this was the company that they gave me this progress report. This was back in November. But they were, you know, they billed me an upfront thing and then they did sort of this data thing that I paid for several months for $279 a month. And then this is what they ended up. Yeah, I don't know what any of this stuff means.
It's the local search thing.
Yeah, I was trying to get a hold of them to get them to call me back to explain what they had done. And it just showed what?
Yeah.
I don't know what all this stuff is.
Yeah, it's not. This is boilerplate nonsense.
Okay, so I just got taken, and so I'm either gonna not just say bad, you know.
The only thing this is the type of stuff that drives me nuts. When you know people are sold things like this to people like you. Mm-hmm. All you need to do is follow our art marketing calendar. All we are doing is trying to make that as good as possible. And it's constantly getting better and easier. Like Patrick himself, myself, I am like reading through it all. We are constantly updating it, you know, to like give you the best tactics to like, just to try to stop stuff like that so that you know exactly what to do. And you just, you know, if you're going to spend your time or money on anything, and we don't want you spending any other money. I mean, the only thing that we want you spending any money on is some remarketing ads, in a very small amount at that, to take advantage of the email list and the traffic that you actually already have, which is called warm traffic, right? That makes a lot of sense. Like that's the only investment to make. But that's all you just got to follow the marketing. And I love the idea of, you know, doing the same thing in Boise. All of that I completely agree with. I think you're on the right track. You just got to do the marketing and do the work. The other thing I was going to say too is just a very small tactical comment, but yes, when you are doing shows, and you guys were talking about making sure you close the deal on the spot, you know, like rather than giving people a discount to leave, like you never, it's kind of a principle in trade shows, is that it's also a principle in retail. There's a reason, there's some sort of a stat, that a famous statistic that's like, when you like 99%, or it's like 99 point something percent of people who walk into a retail store leave without buying and never come back. And that is exactly why whenever you walk into a retail store, there's always a salesperson standing there at the front. Like think about when you walk into a department store like Nordstrom's or, I mean, the ones that know what they're doing, they are going to get a person to talk to you as quickly as possible to see if you need help, to guide you to wherever you need to be, because they know that if you walk away, it's over, you know? So,
I kind of get that, but the other thing too is there's only so many, you know, as far as artwork goes, I've got thousands of images. I honestly do. I don't have them on here. I tried to pick the best sellers to put on here. But I agree with you. I fully agree with you, and I'm trying, and maybe I can learn something out of this conversation. Well, let
me finish what I.
Sure, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, the part that I wanted to tell you is that what you don't want to do is give people a reason to leave, right? And so if you give them a card and say, "Oh yeah, here's a discount, just go to my website and do it," at that moment, you're giving them a reason to leave, right? Like, oh yeah, I can just take this card and then I'll buy it later. And that usually doesn't work. And as you can see, it doesn't really work. Right. But what you want to do instead is say, yeah, if you want to give them the card, give them the card. But what you should say is, hey, if you buy it here today, right now, I will give you a 25% discount, right? So you give them a reason to buy right now, right there, before they leave, because you have to know that once they're gone, they're gone. Now you've got them on your if you've collected their email address, you've got them on your email list, and all of the marketing in our art marketing calendar is going to help you romance those people and bring them to a close, right? And so oftentimes, like you'll see in the small wins group, people talk about this all the time. They post about this, especially during the holidays, where they're like, oh my goodness, like the person that, or, I got a huge sale for $1,000 or $1,500. And it was somebody that I got their email address at a show in March, and I never even met them. I didn't even know that they were there, you know? And so like, yeah, so you want to collect these things, and then the marketing that we show you what to do will nurture them and do all that stuff. But while you are there in person, give them a reason to buy.
Yeah, I'll give you 25% off if you order online right this moment. I can order you whatever size you'd like, if they're attracted.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's something to do for sure.
You're always going to give them a deal later, right? Like, because our marketing, like when it comes to the holidays, like you're going to give them a deal later, but they don't need to know that. Like, there's a benefit to being there in person. Hey, if you buy it here today because you're at the show, I'm giving everybody 25% off. So are you sure you don't want to possibly grab something while you're here? You know?
Right, exactly. I'm doing an online thing. If you want, you can get exactly the size and have it shipped to you if you buy it right now. Okay, that's awesome. I have another question, and it has to I know you're limited on time and so forth, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. I've got two friends of mine that I used to be in marketing with for about 25 years. So they're really, they're pretty savvy, and they're trying to learn this online. They were doing a course, and they sort of used me as a guinea pig, just as they haven't activated anything. I haven't purchased any ads or something by them, but they were looking at the Facebook ads and so forth. And through that, they found all the really, they could really drill down and find where the art or the wine buying or wine interest areas are, as far as how to place Facebook ads and so forth in really relevant areas. And I can't remember what it was all called. I'm just so tech.
Yeah, it's okay.
Pat's the master on all that. So go ahead, Pat.
They were doing a pretty sophisticated course that helped them really drill down, and they found the markets that were that would be very beneficial for me to advertise this website on and so forth. I don't, it was pretty targeted marketing, and it was like Miami and Chicago, and there were a couple places in Texas. It might have been Dallas or Austin. Chicago, it was surprising, some of the places, and then obviously San Francisco, just because it's, people go visit wine country all the time. But I don't know if that's valuable to get into, or just, I'll down the road, or if it's something I should go revisit with these guys again, because I'm sure they would help me activate all this.
Yeah,
but,
I can speak to that for you.
I just don't.
And I think,
Okay.
An analogy works here. And you've been fly fishing, so I'm going to stick with the fishing analogy because I like it.
Okay.
When you're asking the question, like, they're saying to you, hey, I know how to find wine lovers on Facebook, and we can potentially pay some money to show your art in front of these wine lovers, and we can see how that would work out. And it's no different than fishing, the analogy. If you go and you do that with the setup that you have currently, it's like steaming the boat out into the open ocean and then putting one line in the water.
Okay.
And why do you only have one line in the water? Because you just have your website set up, and it's a good website, don't get me wrong, with your art. What you don't have is all the follow-up marketing. And until you get the follow-up marketing in place,
get it all in place first,
you're only going to have the one line in the water. Now, when you have the follow-up marketing in place, instead of just the one line in the water, you end up having 5 lines in the water. So what if when you got all the way out there, it's not marlin that are biting, or swordfish, it's tuna, or it's mahi-mahi, or it's barracuda, or it's bass, or it's bottom fish. You have to have all of those lines in the water to be able to truly get the ROI out of the trip, to truly get the ROI out of the advertising.
Okay. So how am I getting new, emails?
Combination of ways. I mean, let's table the Facebook thing for a second, and let me give you some big picture, and then I want to get down to some tactical.
Okay.
Selling art online and being profitable as an artist is really hard, right? It becomes a lot easier when you get smart about it. Why I'm so excited hearing just everything and seeing your entire operation is you have multiple revenue sources. You have the potential for multiple revenue sources. You have the show circuit, which is going to allow you to sell, but also allow you to gather a list. And you've already developed the discipline of doing that every single solitary weekend. So I'm over the moon. And as soon as the call finishes, I'm going to send you the tactical playbooks on what to do when you have a show. You're going to be able to listen to this podcast episode. After you do, you're going to be nodding your head throughout the entire thing.
Great.
You're like, oh my gosh, if I do that at every single solitary show, I can't even imagine where I would be. If I'm you and I have an 800-person email list, and I know that I have the ability to go to shows, let's just say 25 of them this year, 30 of them, 15 of them, you're going to explode that email list. It's not even going to be close. The secondary one is, you're obviously very personable and good at sales. So if you start developing the relationships with these new wineries, as you're going to do anyway, because you're going to be there shooting them, showing off your portfolio, that's another revenue source for you, which is fantastic. So already I'm seeing 2 revenue sources here, and we're not even talking about the digital revenue source yet, which is your website. So you've got some lines in the water in that capacity already. And I think if you just start cultivating all of those, just like you did in Napa, you're just moving the entire operation, which was working in Napa, and it's now going to be Boise. So does that mean you have to get rid of Napa? Absolutely not. You own sort of this wine niche, this wine, food, just the whole romantic aspect of it is going out there drinking wine and doing that, right? And I think that has huge appeal, broad appeal. And so that's sort of like even another niche, right? Like you can have your Napa working, you can have your Napa bestsellers. People will always be attracted to those. And now you're going to go over and you're going to start owning Boise. And they're not going to see you coming because you've got that California level of sophistication in marketing and sales from Napa. And now you're bringing it to Boise, and that's just going to work. It always does. That's how it works. Yep. So I'm really excited by all of that. You've not started marketing at all. You've not started emailing your list at all. You've not started running big sales. You start doing all of those things, you're going to generate even more revenue opportunities. One other thing that I thought of, that I saw, it seems like you can also paint in addition to what you can do with the computer and Photoshop. One really interesting play, and I've said this on a couple of calls, but I'm so fascinated by it, is you only had prints, right? And prints command a certain price. If you could order canvas prints and or order metal prints and do a tiny bit of embellishment with the oil on top of the print, you have something that would potentially sell for $200 to $300 that you can charge $800 to $900. and it'll make it pop in a new and a unique way. So if I'm you, and if I have that skill set, I saw, I think a fly fishing lure that you'd painted. You've got it. I know you've got it. I would start experimenting with that immediately. I would consider that an entire new product line. I mean, if I'm looking at that oysters and champagne, and you get out a little paint and you paint on top of the oysters a little bit, and you embellish the champagne a little bit, you're going to sell those things all day long. I mean, that's
and I've started throwing on some gold leaf. That's been kind of fun.
The gold leaf too.
Highlights and stuff. It just sort of adds a little something that, because I've always wanted to really customize these a little bit, because they kind of lend themselves to that. So I have kind of done some experimentation with going in and adding line quality and different stuff to it. So it just becomes, I guess, a limited edition print or something.
Exactly right. And as such, it also commands a much higher price.
Okay.
Which is phenomenal. And
it's good to know.
You can hand them all.
Is my pricing realistic? Or, I mean, I'm selling the big ones myself for $400, the 30 by 40s. And, I was basically ordering, I've been ordering from I have to say, I've been ordering from my canvases from a printer down in Florida who ships them to me for free, and who I can get the 30 by 40s shipped to me for free and pay, like, when they're on sale, like $50 for them. So I don't think graphics can do that. But maybe I just...
Well, it depends on it depends on which canvas that you're buying from that company.
Yeah.
Because I looked at I can see, and I have a background in canvas manufacturing. I have another company that manufactures digital canvas. So I know this stuff so well, but I could tell the canvas that I see on Instagram is like a polyester, which tends to be a lower cost. And so graphic has a lower cost sort of economy type of option that may even save you even more money. So I would definitely look into that.
I'll ask them. I need to give them a call and find out what the wholesale pricing is on that stuff.
Our team can help you with all of that.
Okay.
Yeah. Our team can help you with. So if you just hit up support, Emily and her team, like, they will be able to help you with all of that.
Yeah, and
it's labeled in there, economy.
Yeah. And I've had to, just because I'm kind of grassroots, sort of had to go with the least expensive thing to get stuff going. Especially now, I've got a whole bunch of new artwork that I've created for here, and I'm going to have to do a buttload of printing for the show season out here, and I've got to be able to do it in a way that I can afford to front the cost for that. I mean,
for sure. Let talk to Emily.
Okay.
Let us help you with that, because we can help you get a discount. Okay. With our partners on all those, if you're putting a big order together and some things like that. And we can look at it on like
I'd rather have it be the canvases that people are going to order right off Art Storefronts. That's always been a little bit of a concern with me as well, but I just needed to make sure I could afford to do it, because. For
sure. Yeah. Well, there's options of canvas and paper and metal from like super ultra premium down to economy. Because we have people that are obviously selling like, multiple $1,000 limited editions and need like the nicest printing possible.
Sure.
And then there's people who are selling more decorative art where they'll go with the least expensive stuff, which I believe is totally fine if that's your market, because it's your profit margin, right? So like if your market is just decorative art, like go with the lowest cost stuff you can get that still meets your quality standard, and then the rest of it, the rest of it's your profit margin, which is great.
Yep. I do also have a quick question. Tell me if I'm taking too much of your time.
We're at the end here, so okay. Yeah, go ahead though.
I just want a quick question on this. Sorry. So I was in a quandary trying to pick, like, what do I offer as far as, I don't want to offer a ton of it. I wanted to offer a higher and lower canvas type so people could make a choice. Is it better to offer higher quality and let people
I wouldn't stress over that. I would look at what you've been offering and find something that's equivalent to it. Because if it's been working, it's been working. There's no big deal there. I think it's more important to, in terms of your media type offering, to have what, people are generally putting in their homes, and not to cut yourself off from potential sales. Like I always give this example. I have an aunt who's an interior designer, and she outfitted a hotel in Florida, and I was talking to her, and she's like, yeah, the whole hotel was all metal prints.
Oh, okay.
It was all metal prints, right? Of like all this stuff and all this certain type of content. And so whenever I talk to somebody, they're like, yeah, I don't want to offer metal. And I'm just like, do you realize how many hotels, homes, and all that stuff are putting metal on their walls? Metal is such a hot media type. But in general, like all you're doing is you're taking your potential market and you're significantly decreasing it if you are not offering media types that people are buying that are common. And so those are canvas. You should have one canvas. You should have one art paper. It should be like a watercolor paper or a smooth fine art paper, one or the other.
Either or.
And then you should have either or, exactly, just one fine art paper. That way you're not overwhelming your customer. You should have one metal. You should have acrylic, and and you should have wood if you can. And obviously our fulfillment partners all provide that, so you have those options. And then the only addition that you could add on there that I don't recommend for everybody, but like you can decide, is potentially a photo paper. And that photo paper could be a photo gloss or a photo semi-gloss, or a luster. Just pick one. But the reason for that is just to have a super low price point. And I don't mean like a $5 price point. I just mean that, a photo paper is going to be cheaper than a fine art paper. So if you want to have something that's on the, like in the $30 range or $50 range for something, then you might go there. But for a lot of people, they just don't even want to go there. So that way, like their cheapest print might be $75 or $100 or something like that. But that's it. If you do that, if you have those roughly 4 or 5 media types, then you're opening yourself up to any type of commercial business, any interior designer, as well as all of the needs of your consumers, because some of them might have a modern home, and a modern home, acrylic and metal is going to be way better for. And then for a more like,
sort of modern imagery. So I definitely want to approach that.
So that's important. But then like a Mediterranean style traditional home will probably want, canvas prints, canvas wraps, right?
Yeah. Quick question. If I offered 2 canvases, could I like relabel one premium canvas and canvas, or do you just say one canvas? I
would just say one, because that's going to just be too confusing for people, You just got to decide who you are as a brand, like what you are, and just have one canvas.
Okay, fair enough. Cool.
And like I was saying, if you have not been paying for a super premium and that's what you've been selling, I would not just jump to the super premium, because all that's going to do is cut into your profit margin.
Yeah.
And nobody cared in the first place. It only matters if you're really selling really higher price stuff, especially if it's a limited edition.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. That sounds awesome. And I will, so if I were to offer a limited edition of, say, like this print, and do I have to have that do I have a separate section for limited edition prints?
Yes.
Okay. Because I have to do that like I do my note cards, which is not through the.
Correct.
Okay.
That's right. You do it in the standard store,
right?
Which is where you do your note cards. Yeah. And so you can set up the limited edition products there, and that way.
The place.
Correct. When you get an order, you can order right through the back end, have it shipped to you, so you can sign it and number it, and then you're good to go. The cool part is too, we have this side-by-side feature, like we call it side-by-side products, so that when somebody is on like the open edition print, for example, right? There's like a button there at the top that says like limited edition. And so they can toggle back and forth, and they can see they can see that there's a limited edition option, not just, just the open edition. So you're kind of like marketing those back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after you create the limited edition, you can connect it to the open edition, and they'll appear side by side on the same page, which is cool.
Okay, great. Awesome. Well, that makes sense to me. I'm going to just get this going as is, and then know that I've got options, and then we'll go from there, and I'll just keep following the marketing plan.
Keep following that. That's the last thing I wanted to leave you with too, is that, since you paid for that thing that you showed us, right? Which was not worth it. And then, you're talking about the Facebook ads. I want to keep you, I want to encourage you to stay in our world, right? Like, if you're going to do Facebook ads, or you're going to do anything like that, follow what we're telling you to do for Facebook ads. Like, do the next thing right there. Resist the urge to like spend your money anywhere else. I don't want you to spend any other money than what we're telling you to do, which is, we're not telling you to spend any money. You've already paid it. You already get all the marketing coaching for free, right? Ongoing forever. So if you follow the Art marketing calendar, and then you look at the parts where we tell you to do Facebook ads, that's the only stuff that you should spend, and it will be minimal. And then you could go and do cold targeting on winery type of stuff, but there's no point in doing that yet. It's not the right time to do that.
I need to get myself built up and get into this marketing like groove. And making sure that I'm following
into the groove. He made such an important point. It's like, this was like a huge point that Pat made about when he was giving the fishing analogy with the line in the water. It's like, most people, this is where most artists and photographers fail and screw up. In fact, 99% of them, this is their biggest problem, is that because they are not doing follow-up marketing, ongoing marketing all the time consistently, it's hard to make any channel succeed. So if you do Facebook ads, even if you do shows, like you're a perfect example, right? You've been doing shows, but if you're not doing the follow-up marketing consistently all the time and doing it correctly, you're not squeezing that orange as much as you can. You're not getting every dollar of revenue from those customers, from those email addresses and those leads that you collected. From one show, you'll be making sales for years from those people.
Remembering, right?
Exactly. And if you don't, people have short attention spans. You've got to stay in front of them. And so, that is how you make any channel work. So when you have the follow-up marketing and you're in that groove and you're doing that all the time, whatever you add into the top of your funnel in terms of leads and email addresses is going to get the proper nurturing, and you're going to get the ROI, the return on investment, maximized on any marketing that you do. So it's pointless to add new stuff, like new advertising and new things, until you're actually doing something consistently, because all you're going to have is that one line in the water. You're not going to get the return on it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
I identified my problem, and the whole thing is I just was so leery about bugging people about stuff, and I just need to be over that.
Yep. Get over it. Get out of the way.
Yeah, get over it.
Get over it. You're not bothering anybody. You're not bothering anybody. 20% of the people open up your emails. Like, that means 80% of the people didn't even see the email. They just didn't even see it, And the same thing goes with social posts and all that stuff. Nobody's seeing anything. That's the paradox, right? Like, Gary Vaynerchuk, this famous marketer, he talks about how you should have like 20 social media posts a day, because there's so much noise that nobody's even seeing it. Now, we're not telling you to do that. We're not advocating it, because it would just be, a monumental amount of work, but nobody's seeing any of it. So it doesn't matter. The more that you can get out, the better.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I was always thinking, God, if I bug people, they're just going to take me off the list. I mean, I've had a few people take me off the list, but oh well.
They were never going to buy.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
They were never going to buy.
Okay.
Let them go. Let them go.
I needed the psychological lesson there. So.
Well, we are both very excited for you. I love it. I think we both, I can tell we both believe you've got a lot of opportunity ahead of you. Just do the work and stick at it.
Sells, so it's not, I don't have any kind of issue there because, you know, I'm not taking it personally. I'm figuring out, you know, I figure I'm just not doing enough, and I know I'll own all the responsibility for not getting in and doing the work. And now that I'm over my bugging people thing, I can get going. And I'm always, you know, jumping into constant contact. I've got, or whatever, chimp, whatever.
MailChimp, yeah.
MailChimp. It's always like, oh God, I don't want to do something wrong. And I think once I start doing it enough, I'm like going to have more confidence in it. And
you just need to stay consistent. If you just stay consistent from now until fourth quarter, and you follow our playbooks in the fourth quarter, you're going to have
and I appreciate the templates.
You're going to have a great year
about it and design things, because I get really nuts about trying to design things correctly, and that's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what I do.
That's what we all do.
I'm always trying to reinvent things, and it's like, just follow the directions.
Yep. Yeah.
Just
you just gotta get out of your way.
Yeah. Well, you guys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and you've given me some things to chew on, and things make sense that you were saying, and I appreciate your belief in this stuff. So that's good. And I want to make anytime I'm spending time doing this, make it worth what I'm doing. So
absolutely.
So that's
cool. Good luck. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you as well. And we look forward to keeping in touch, and we'll see you in the small wins group.
And then Nick, let's make sure to
if you ever have
Emily reach out
ideas,
help her.
Is there, just real fast, do you have business to business sort of tactics too, or is it just?
Yes. Yeah, well, if you make a post in the group, we can get you what we have, and we can talk about it further and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, because what you were saying, I mean, this is my business to business site. It's basically just a dumping ground it's like my portfolio storage ground. I have so many imagery, and I basically send clients to this site to look at, and like, here's all my brands. I mean, these are all the people I work with or have sent stuff to. It's like, these are all separate brands with all different, each one of these has all sorts of stuff in it. So it's almost just a organizational dumping ground. But if there's a way to start marketing that eventually, we'll talk about that later, and I'll post that on. I don't want to take any more of your time here. So thank you. Are you there?
You are more than welcome. All right. Well, let's leave it there, and we will talk to you soon.
Okay. I'll get going on this. Thanks.
Okay. Excellent. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.